Hey guys, welcome back to the show. Happy Thursday, December 14th. We are live here on the Brandon Mason Show. So happy to have you. Before we dive into Draymond Green, all the craziness, suspended indefinitely, NFL MVPs, and a lot on the list, we're going to welcome again our co-host, the guy that everyone's starting to talk about, saying it looks like Seth Rogen from Superbad, the guy that we love. He looks like he's 18 in a picture, and sometimes he looks 40 years old. He knows all the stats. My right-hand man, guys, welcome Brent Chapman to the show.
Thank you very much for having me back today, Brandon. Now, I got to start by
introduction. Gotta love that, man. You are Superbad to the fullest. We're growing the curls. Everyone's starting to vote on that. Everyone's starting to vote on that, just so you know.
I like I said, I need a Superbad t-shirt, I think, to wear here on this show. But does anyone notice what I'm wearing today? I'm wearing a Utah t-shirt.
Wait, so Brett, so people watching this right now, the first coming in, before we go in NFL MVPs, I know what you're doing, Brett. You know, we got our ass kicked by Utah in a bowl game years ago when I was playing for Pitt, and Brett's trying to rub this shit in. And you know, it's okay. It's okay, because I got stuff coming for you, and I got shirts that people are sending me, and they're coming for you too. Before we dive into, listen, Brett, let's talk about, you know, before we start making fun of each other, let's talk about the NFL MVPs right now, because listen, this is what it looks like. This is what people are talking about. I know you might have your own opinion, like everyone watching this right now. If you're looking at this and you're live here right now, guys, thanks for watching. Tune in, type what you think. Who is the NFL MVP? Who do you think is the leading, you know, individual? Is it Dak Prescott? You know, is it Brock Purdy? Is it somebody else? But these are the two right now, Brent, that are in the MVP conversation.
Yeah, I'll tell you what BetMGM says, right? So BetMGM says Dak, then Brock, then Lamar, then Jalen Hurts, and then Josh Allen, ahead of Patrick Mahomes, by the way. Yeah, I don't know. You know, I don't know if any of
Stop rooting for Josh Allen. Stop rooting for Josh Allen just because you're a Buffalo Bills fan. We already know what you're doing. He's
By the way, your man crush Tyreek Hill is on number 7 on that list, which I think he should see. I think Tyreek Hill should be higher. He's a stud. I think CJ Stroud. I think CJ Stroud should be higher on this list.
They just got beat. That's the problem. Tyreek Hill, okay, Brandon is also making fun of my man crush on Tyreek Hill's speed. Let's be clear. His speed is unreal. If I had that speed, I'd still be playing right now. I wouldn't got hurt because I would never even got hit. I mean, this is the reality. And yeah, he should be in the conversation. I know that. But here's the real scenario of these two players. They're winning football games. And early on, if they lost a game, you know, or two, Brock Purdy lost 3 straight, got upset by several teams. But you know what? The truth is, great teams make changes. Great coaches make changes, which we'll get to in a second with Bill Belichick. But they are winning now. Brock Purdy's playing better than ever. And everybody around him on the 49ers, you know, going from the running game, you know, out to Deebo Samuel, to the receiving game, the blocking, the defense, everyone's playing well. And also on the offensive side for Dak Prescott, he's got great players. Tony Pollard, CeeDee Lamb, they're stepping up, playing in a big way. We can't forget Ferguson at tight end position. But right now, leading the race are those two players, if you ask me. But do you really think that Patrick Mahomes at this point even has a chance in the MVP conversation?
No, I don't. And out of those two, I would go Dak. And here's why. Because Brock Purdy has Christian McCaffrey, and he's a freaking stud. Like, I mean, in a minute here, we're going to talk about Cam Newton calling them all game managers. And so I don't know how you give the MVP. I don't know how you give the MVP to Brock Purdy, a game manager, right? So I just think it has to be Dak, because
you're saying that. Wait, you're saying Brock Purdy is a game manager?
At this point in his career, a lot more that direction than Dak is. I mean, Dak was more of a game manager in the past, and we'll get into what game manager is when we talk about Cam Newton. But I want to talk about Dak, because I think he's really stepped up and more so putting this on his shoulders than in the past. So, and if they continue and don't pull the normal, you know, Cowboys collapse at the end of the season here, then he should probably be the MVP. But like I said,
Dak Prescott.
Yeah, Dak Prescott. I like Tyreek Hill. I like Christian McCaffrey. I think they're studs. I think without either one of those players, their teams suck. So
the issue, Brent, the real issue is this. A lot of people, you can hate on Dak Prescott. You can love him. We talked about that. Is he good enough to really take you to the Super Bowl? Is he that great to run the whole team organization? He's winning games. Is he a regular season winner? Is he a postseason winner? And that's what we're going to see in the playoffs, because that's where they really choke. But realistically, like you just said, there's great players on the 49ers. I love Christian McCaffrey, one of the best players, especially at the running back position. He can catch the ball. But I think the MVP conversation always comes down to quarterbacks. The reason being is because they have to manage so much.
So what's your pick? What's your pick, Brandon? Because this is split. FanDuel and DraftKings have Dak. BetMGM and Caesars has Brock. What do you say? Who's your guy right now?
Listen, the Brandon Mason show right now has Dak Prescott, because at the end of the day, that is what people really believe. But listen, here's my comparison before we go into the next topic. When I watch Brock Purdy, I feel like the movie Rudy. If you've seen the movie Rudy, you're like, put this guy in, Rudy, and this guy gets in. Yeah, he wins games, and so they want him to become a superstar. I agree with you. We're going to get into that with Cam Newton about managing the game. But before we finish some of that, I just want to say I think Dak Prescott right now is just leading the conversation. But let's go right into Deion Sanders, okay? What is Deion Sanders doing different, Brent, than other coaches? I know my opinion. I want to hear yours. What is he doing different, when I pull his picture up? And why is everyone literally, especially before the season started, why is everyone starting to even more jump on the bandwagon with Deion Sanders? Why are they following him? Why is he such an inspiration?
Because of his celebrity and the way he presents himself. He's just one of these guys that, people, they're attracted to. And I get it. The way he talks is phenomenal. Check out his new Nike commercial that just came out about dreams. It's fantastic. I would say my favorite Deion Sanders commercial is when you can YouTube it. I'll drop it in the comments here, from 2014, where he was Leon Sandcastle entering the draft. But he's just a funny guy, and when he talks, and he's so motivating to his players. And let's be honest, he had celebrity long before he became a coach. So he's leveraged that celebrity to get sponsorship deals, draw attention, all this stuff about watches and hats. That's not because he's a good coach. That's because he's Deion freaking Sanders. That's why.
But listen, Deion Sanders is basically saying, taking the NFL to the college level. I mean, literally, the college level, and Brent, you're the founder of my NIL pay, so again, I always talk about this because it's so true. Players are getting paid in college now, and Deion Sanders, and I'll pull the picture up again, we need to see this, he is making changes on all levels right now. High school kids are watching him. College kids are watching him. They're jumping ship. Even right now, they're getting more players, and people like The Rock and other celebrities are following Deion Sanders every single day and even building more of his fame. I mean, the guy is in the hospital getting toes cut off. They're like, well, maybe we have to amputate his foot, or maybe we have to amputate, part of his leg. And then it's like, he's in the hospital. The next day, you see him, it's snowing in Colorado, and he's walking on the field. He's got like all kind of assistants. And it's just like, the man is just world renowned because he played football. He played baseball. And he wasn't just good, he was great. And so everybody's like, let me follow Deion Sanders. And he's getting people paid. He's got transfers coming in. They want to be a part of the legacy. And they really believe that this season coming up, because let's face it, this year was not what they wanted. But they did better than before. But this year coming up, they're supposed to be one of the best teams with all these transfers, Brent.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, they started out 4-0, and then it just fell apart, right? So, I mean, Deion as a coach, I think the verdict is still out on how good of a coach he is. And the other thing you got to really remember about coaching is, he gives great speeches and he's motivating, but it's more than that. And eventually the players start tuning you out if you aren't delivering on the other things that matter, like game strategy and preparation for the game and everything else that goes into being successful.
But he's building their fame, Brent.
Yeah, but
what people don't
but
realize
at the end
is
of the
he's
day,
building their fame.
Yeah, fame is the fun part. Being a good football player is what's going to make them money when they go to the league and stuff, and they get.
But
that's why they're
going there now, because they know if I go there right now, I hang out with Shakur Sanders, I hang out with the Sanders family, I'm getting media, I'm building my Instagram, I'm building all my social media, I'm getting on YouTube.
Yeah.
Everybody knows I'm in pictures with Shakur. I'm starting my own line. You know, maybe you start your own bobblehead business, which we know this looks more like Brent than me. Thank you so much to the bobblehead company for sending this to me. It says Brandon Mason, but I'm going to change it to Brent Chapman, founder of my NIL.
Yeah, I'm like, Brandon, I got to say, I think you're off on this, man. I think that's like a fun party, but in the morning you wake up and you gotta live your, like, yes, Colorado's cool because of fame and celebrity, but at the end of the day, if you have aspirations on playing in the pros or at a high level, you still need good coaching, good facilities, good teammates, right? It isn't just about the great party that they're having at Colorado.
Wait, you're saying I'm wrong about what?
I'm saying that you're wrong about that this is about the fame, this is about the attention, this is about Deion.
So you don't think, okay. So
Deion needs to be a great coach, and he hasn't proven that. He's proven he's a party time.
I'm talking about the players. Do you think a guy that starts at Michigan, Penn State, Notre Dame, USC, I use those, let's go another team, Oklahoma, Florida, University at Cal, whatever you want, doesn't matter, any team, right? Texas. You think that these players that are starting there that have a great opportunity, they go on and they leave their school, they go play for Deion Sanders in Colorado, they already have an opportunity. They're playing at a massive school. Why would they jump ship, go to Colorado, play for Deion Sanders? The only reason I could think of in my mind is I'm going to be a part of something different, and I can figure out ways to make money in whatever media opportunity is possible now, because they already have everything lined up.
Yeah, you're completely correct in the short term, in the interim. My point is, in 2 years, if Deion Sanders doesn't prove that he can actually coach football, which I think is still out, the verdict is still out, they aren't going to be leaving Ohio State and Michigan to go play with 3-9 Deion Sanders.
Well, before we move on, Brent, there's a lot to say about that, but he did great at Jackson State. He gets to Colorado, builds his whole legacy, changed the whole NCAA world of sports outside of NIL, which he has also changed due to the media stuff. You know, I think the man is doing great things, but it's also making it a little bit confusing. But let's move on. Let's talk about the Eagles. I got an interview to pull up in a second. Before I do, guys, if you're watching this right now, the Cowboys obviously are ahead of the Eagles. I mean, what do you guys think? Will the Cowboys get past the first round? If you're watching this right now, comment on the chat. Do you think the Cowboys will get past the first round of the playoffs before we go into this interview? I have an interview for you, Brent, right now to pull up. I want you to listen to it and hear what exactly Jalen Hurts has to say about, what happened last week.
Jalen, after a loss like that, what will stick with you most?
Just the missed opportunities. Taking advantage of our opportunities. We talk about executing every week and how important that is. And I feel like we put ourselves in good position and get to that high red zone area many a times, and we turned the ball over when we got there. And so I have to do a better job of protecting the ball and creating that energy for us. Just got to be better with that.
Can you walk us through what happened on the 4th and 9?
I mean, look, Brent, here's the thing. He's getting up there saying, look, we got to play better. Every quarterback's going to get up there and say, maybe it's on me. I got to make these changes. I got to do this. But the truth of the matter is, Jalen Hurts, here's what bothers me a lot. I think Jalen Hurts is one of the best NFL quarterbacks right now. Not MVP right now, but one of the best quarterbacks in the National Football League. I love his composure. I love that when something bad happens, he's like, let's relax. We can get through this. He's got that composure built from Alabama with Nick Saban, then Oklahoma. He's got the composure, but we don't see any emotion. It's okay when you throw for a touchdown pass to get excited. It gets the fans excited. Every picture I look up of Jalen Hurts, even the pull up on here, The man is like, I threw a touchdown pass. Here's his reaction. Okay, then it's like, oh, I threw an interception. Here's his reaction. I mean, listen, Brent, I'm serious. It bothers me because I'm excited about football. I grew up playing it.
This
and
is
it's
true.
awkward to me.
Yeah, so I love Brandon saying he's excited about football. So, if you have any doubt about the Brandon Mason show being football-centric, Giannis scored 64 points last night. The first player to do that as a non-guard since 1994. And we're talking about the Eagles for the 32nd time this week.
Yeah,
Now,
that's exactly what we're talking about because
that's
you know what,
right.
Giannis, okay, I'll give you that. But at the end of the day,
I want to talk about Jalen Hurts real quick. But this is a good point, right? He isn't excitable, and that's probably what makes him really great, right? You have to be able to control your emotions. You have to not throw your helmet when the ref calls a play that
but
is
there a difference between? Is there a difference? And people watching this, is there a difference between handling your emotions and then being emotionless? I mean, if that's even a word.
I don't think
having emotion is okay. You can score a touchdown and get excited. If you make a bad pass, you can say, holy whatever, I got to get better. When you have no emotion, Brent, people are like, is Jalen Hurts in La La Land right now? I mean, I know he's great. He's talented. I like Jalen Hurts. I love he's the man in Philadelphia. I want some emotion here. He's a leader.
Yeah, I think that he's leading by example, right? And yes, there could be a little bit more emotion probably, but he's staying calm. I'd almost rather have him behaving like that than like Ryan Leaf or even like his buddy Pat Mahomes that's throwing his helmet when he doesn't get his way, right? So I'm okay with Jalen Hurts. He's still a young quarterback in the league. He'll probably learn how to amp that up a little bit to kind of get the team a little bit more motivated. But I don't have a problem with it, man. Throw touchdowns, throw interceptions, bounce back, don't get upset, don't let it get you down, keep moving.
If you lose consecutively.
One game, bro. They're 10-3. They're 10-3, bro. It's one game.
Undeniably good. Speaking of quarterbacks, Brent. Speaking of quarterbacks, let's move on to Cam Newton, who always finds a way to pull his Superman out, right? And he finds a way to jump back into the media, some weird, awkward situation. And I have an interview right here to pull up for people to listen to. Let's hear what Cam Newton has to say about quarterbacks managing the game, or just being, are they decent players managing, or do they change the game as a game changer?
Parody, Tua Tagovailoa, Jared Goff, and really, Dak Prescott. These are game managers. They're not difference makers.
When you say game manager, I'm not asking you to go out and win the game. I'm just asking you not to lose.
Not to lose the game. Exactly. Listen, I don't give a damn what you do. You don't have to score every time. You just don't have to throw a pick every time either. If we're going to really call a spade, there's a difference between managers of the game and difference makers of a game.
Like, give me a break. I'm just
Brent, I pulled that video from Get Up because I thought that this was important for people to hear. And Cam Newton in the football world right now, and I like Cam Newton. I think he was a great player to watch because he was entertaining, like a lot of people that I love watching.
What do you think about that? What do you think about that wardrobe, Brandon?
Listen, that's another topic. The wardrobe is out of control, and he also is revolutionary too when it comes to the wardrobe. But he literally stated on this interview, Get Up, thanks for letting us use the video and the content. He states that some quarterbacks are game changers and some are just game managers. And so he doesn't feel like these players like Brock Purdy, or Dak Prescott, or Tua are actually players that can change the game. Like my guy Tyreek Hill, who can change the game with his speed. He thinks, these are just game managers. And people like Patrick Mahomes, he think are game changers. What do you think he means by that? I mean, what is he really saying about these players?
Yeah, I think you kind of said it best, right? He's talking about guys like they get the ball in their hand and they make the difference, right? Like a Pat Mahomes, you don't know if he's going to run or throw, right? Josh Allen, Tyreek Hill, Lamar Jackson is either really a game changer, right? Even though I don't think he's a great passer, he's somebody that you get out there. A game manager is, and by the way, and this is important, I think a quarterback should be a game manager, right? I believe that if you are a very good quarterback,
I agree with that.
You can go in, and your job is to distribute the ball to your weapons in a responsible manner. You need to be able to read defense. You need to be able to read coverages. You need to be able to make all of them. You need to be able to make the right decisions. But your job is to get the ball in the hands of. When you become a Lamar Jackson, where it's just about your legs and your ability and it's just you become very one-dimensional, and good teams can stop that.
You know what?
So I do believe.
I like what you're saying. I want to disagree with you because I just want to battle you today, Brent. I want to battle you in all these damn topics right now, but I got to tell you, I agree with that. You become one-dimensional and you start getting hit like your boy Josh Allen. He's he's pushing to become a Lamar Jackson. He's trying so hard, Brent, to run the ball. The one-dimensional quarterbacks come in and they're out. I like the idea of managing a game like Brock Purdy, not trying to be the guy who's scrambling all crazy where everybody wants to watch you run around and get hit. I like what you're saying about that.
And look at the teams that are winning, right? The teams that are doing well. Even some of these teams that are like 8-3. I mean, look, Joe Flacco and the Browns, what are they, 8-4 or whatever, 8-5, whatever it is, right? Yeah. They're managing the game. They're playing good defense. The quarterbacks are distributing the ball to the players. They're running the offense. Joe Flacco, whatever you want to say, is an experienced veteran. He can read a defense. He's confident and calm, and he can distribute the ball. That's his job.
Yeah.
Get the ball in the hands of the playmakers.
Listen, speaking of playmakers, and before I go into Belichick, I wonder if there's any Eagles fans in the chat right now because people were sending me all kind of messages yesterday. The Eagles are still the best team in the league. If you're in the chat right now, you're watching this live, are you an Eagles fan? Yes or no? If you are, put yes, I am, or no, I'm not. I want to say that because people are sending me so many direct messages. The Eagles are still the best team in the National Football League, and maybe they are, but they haven't been winning in a way that people would like. But listen, we're going to move on to what I think is an important topic, Brian. Listen, Bill Belichick, one of the best, obviously, coaches of all time, like him or hate him, almost like, I want to say, kind of like a Nick Saban, where he just doesn't go away, just always winning, always doing well, until he loses his boy Tom Brady, right? And so this is a historical picture that I wanted to put, and why don't I have Mac Jones here? Because as you see Bill Belichick, quote unquote, retire, or quote unquote get fired, or a combination of the two, this is the photo that everybody should remember, and pictures of, trophies, of Super Bowls, because this is a man, Brent, listen, I have so much respect for a coach like Bill Belichick because he's been there for a long time, and he rode those highs with Tom Brady, and it wasn't just Tom Brady. He was the centerfold. Everybody knows if it wasn't for him, they wouldn't have won Super Bowls. But if it wasn't for Bill Belichick bringing the players in there and circling all the people around Tom Brady, they wouldn't have won Super Bowls either. So I love what Bill Belichick brought to the game, and I hate the end of people's careers. Like Tom Brady was one of the very few that had a career that ended, and it was like, man, this guy's still winning Super Bowls in Tampa, and he's still great. But look at Aaron Rodgers, goes to the Jets. His career is slowly like, what's going on? What do you think about Bill Belichick? I want to know, I want your take, and also on Mac Jones. So give me Bill Belichick, give me Tom Brady, give me Mac Jones.
Yeah, Bill Belichick is undisputed one of the greatest coaches ever. We talked about earlier in the week how Tom Brady really had a lot to do with their success, but Bill Belichick is great. I think that, when in talking about ending your career, right, there's very few guys that can time it like, John Elway did, where he wins 2 Super Bowls and then retires, right? And, Bill Belichick definitely could have left after Brady left, and he chose to stay. I think it had something to do with he wanted to get his son more involved and maybe help his son's career out a little bit and stay. And he's very loyal to Robert Kraft. And but Bill Belichick is, he's going to go down as one of the best coaches ever, and I think it's well deserved. I mean, like I said in the past, that dynasty, that 20 years, that's unmatched in professional sports across all American professional sports across the board. As far as Mac Jones, whatever, he'll be replaced.
He's a backup quarterback. I liked Mac Jones at the beginning. Listen, I liked Mac Jones. I think Mac Jones could go somewhere maybe with the right stuff. Look, the Patriots have to rebuild. Mac Jones needs to go to a program that's already built and let him play.
Well, so the problem with today's NFL is you get drafted and you're expected to play. But if we go back 20 or 30 years, that's not how it happened. You would get drafted, you would learn for 3 or 4 years, and then you would play. So that's still happening in today's NFL. But what's happening is it's happening with the second team. Geno Smith goes on and has a career, right? You might see that with Mac Jones.
They got to get traded first and then become great. They got to get traded, and now here I am. I got my skills.
Because
I
they
learned
weren't
in Wall
ready.
Street. I learned in Wall Street. Now send me somewhere else. I'm ready to play. That's kind of
They weren't ready. They shouldn't have had them in. Justin Fields isn't ready. He's not going to be the guy. They're going to pull the plug on him in a year or two, right? But that doesn't mean he won't be great 4 years from now. We'll be talking about him as some backup for the Colts or something, taking him to the playoffs.
Justin Fields is a whole goddamn segment on himself, on the fan base. Do they like him? Do they not like him? Is he playing good? Do they want him? Do they not want him? It's almost like Zach Wilson. And we need to talk about that and go into what they're doing, because that's a whole nother thing. And that makes me freaking sweat thinking about it. But let me tell you 2 reasons why I'm sweating right now. Number one, 2 minutes before we come on the live, my cameras are not working. All you see is Brent on the screen waiting for me to show up. And I can't even see myself, so I'm sweating because of that first and foremost. I don't know what happened there in the studio.
They want the Brent Chapman show. They want 30 minutes of super bad. That's what they want.
They want the Brent Chapman bobblehead show.
That's right.
Hey, listen. Before we go into that, let's talk about this. The bowl games, Brent. I am so listen. I said this before when I was playing at Pitt. It's so easy to give comparisons, especially with college football. The bowl games, nobody cares. I'm gonna pull this picture up in a second, Brent. Guys, watch this right now. I want you to see this picture, okay? I want you guys to really see this because it's very confusing.
Show me this, bro.
Look how many freaking bowl games. Okay, when you play in college football, this is how many games. Yeah, people love to watch football, so it puts on all these teams. If you're 6-6, if you're like 5, if you win your conference, if you win X amount of games at least, you're accepted into the bowl series of bowl games. But here's my biggest problem that I have with bowl games, Brent.
It's so terrible.
Nobody even know the Continental Tire Bowl. We're gonna have the Brandon Mason Show Bowl. Because we're going to pay X amount of money to get the Brandon Mason Show Bowl, and we're going to have the team that's 1-8 versus the team that's 4. And look, that's great. I love it. Like I said, the marketing, it's awesome. But nobody cares.
Can we get Stony Brook versus Utah in the Brandon Mason Bowl?
It's like teams that. Listen, guys. Here's what I don't like. There's only 4 teams, and now realistically, next year with 12 teams, I'm gonna love that. I'm gonna love that because you got the teams you want to see. Top.
That's what I want. I've been waiting for that for 30 freaking years, dude.
I love watching all the teams. I love watching. Listen, let me make this clear.
Are you watching the roofclaim.com bowl? I think that's one that's gonna be really great.
Let me make this clear for people watching this. I love all the games. I want everybody to play. I'm not a believer that everybody gets a trophy when you're in last place. Why? Because you play the game because of the passion, the desire, the hard work. Everybody deserves a pat on the back. Everybody deserves, hey, good game. Keep on playing. But this whole notion, Brent, where everybody gets a trophy and everybody has a bowl game and everybody plays, it literally diminishes the whole purpose of the hard work that you put in to get to the top of the pyramid. And I think the teams that we're going to see this year, 4, like I said, we won't talk about Florida State because God forbid I say something about Florida State. There would be so much hate going on. But next year there'll be 12 teams. I think that's great. Brent, this picture I pulled up one more time. How many bowl games can you play? I mean, who's playing in these bowl games? The Vizio Bowl, the Capital One Bowl, the Brandon Mason Show Bowl.
There's
the
a
Brent
Tony
Chapman
the Tiger
lookalike
Bowl.
Seth Rogen Bowl.
There's Tony the Tiger. There's literally a Tony the Tiger Bowl.
The toilet bowl is where we're playing.
Here's my favorite bowl. It's the Barstool Sports Bowl. And it's because they hate Dave Portnoy so much, they gave him Toledo versus Wyoming. Like, I don't think people in Toledo and Wyoming, shout out to, I was wearing a University of Toledo Rockets t-shirt 2 days ago. I don't think people in Toledo and Wyoming are going to watch the Barstool Sports Bowl.
Well, let me tell you something. They might not want to watch that, but I'm going to tell you what they do want to watch right now, Brent, because heading into the next topic, Draymond Green, this is, okay, let me tell you something. This is what people want to hear. This is the title of the show. Why I put it last is because I want you to get to that. I want you to see what we're talking about and then get to Draymond Green. But Draymond Green, I got the video right here. People have seen, I'm sure. But I want to know what you think. You can kind of talk during this. You turn the volume down a little bit. But, Brent, listen. This man has been in so many altercations. And we're not the first people to say it or the last people to say it. I love his energy. I love that he wants to win. I love his passion for the game. But there's something wrong with Draymond Green. And I'm hoping to get him on here. I'm hoping to bring him on the show and talk. He's suspended indefinitely, so he's got a lot of time to talk. He could come on now and tell us, what happened.
Was nothing. That was
what
an
he's
accident.
thinking, what he's saying. At the end of the day, Brent, I want him to come on here and explain to us, what is he thinking? Is he just like, it's a free, is it street ball? Is it, what? I already made so much money. I don't have to be on good behavior. He punched his own teammate, and I hate to put that on blast and bring so much attention back to that because the Warriors already have a lot of concerns because Steph Curry's getting frustrated. Draymond Green suspended indefinitely. Klay Thompson was offered $48 million, to extend, I think, a 1 year, to come back for another season, and he said no. So what does that mean for the Warriors? And what do you think, Brent, about what Draymond Green is even doing?
Yeah,
that's what I want to hear from you.
You asked a great question. What is Draymond Green thinking? I don't think Draymond Green is thinking. I think he's just swinging his arms and he's playing basketball. But what I'd like to know, Brandon, is we should put that side to side with the NHL hit from yesterday. Because the two hits in that video were far worse than what Draymond Green got indefinitely suspended for. So, there is a distinct difference.
But there comes a point in time.
What's acceptable in hockey and what's acceptable in basketball.
There comes a point in time, Brent, where the NBA says, listen, this is absurd. Players are like, because if he starts fighting, like I said yesterday, if he starts fighting and they go toe-to-toe.
Honestly, Brandon, what was so bad about that? He was
okay, here's what's so bad about it.
This is what he was in the moment. He swung his arm and he gave it a little extra push to it and he slapped the guy in the face. Come on,
okay,
bro.
So I want to know this, okay? Super bad. So you're on the court, right? Okay, you're on the court and you're dribbling around. You're dribbling around. and then listen, Draymond Green just happens to elbow you in the face, and he's like, "Oh, no. I was just throwing my arms." But if it happens to a player once or twice, people are like, "Oh, man, he got heated. It was an accident. It was a flagrant." But Brent, this is every year, multiple times a year. So the problem is right now, Draymond Green is skating on thin ice. He punched his own player in the face on the court. And listen, I'm not saying you'll get in arguments. I've been in arguments, in the locker room with people. I've been in arguments on the field. That's normal. But you getting pushed and shoved. But he's so much bigger than Jordan Poole. And he punched Jordan Poole in the face on the court. It's embarrassing. It's like literally I'm playing football, at Pitt, or I'm playing football for the Giants, and the offensive lineman or defensive lineman who's 6'5", 6'6", 320 pounds comes over and just punched you in the mouth. You're like, dude, first off, you're bigger than everybody I know. Number two, you just punched me in the face. You're on my team. And number three, the whole world's going to humiliate this for years. So Draymond Green is doing no justice for the NBA right now.
He's not, but the NBA has been so wussified. I mean, let's Google Charles Oakley, the enforcer, talk about the bad boys, Lambeer and Mahorn. That was basketball, bro. This stuff that Green is doing is mild. He'd be like a semi bad boy, right?
Yeah, but I mean,
those guys used to do.
Listen, Brent, here's the problem about the whole picture in a nutshell. Draymond Green is labeled as someone who's not a good person at this point. I'm not challenging his offensive skills, his defensive skills. The guy plays great defense. A lot of people think he's a defensive MVP every game. Oh, look at Draymond Green. Draymond Green. I didn't even like Draymond Green from the start. But he's proven to be someone on the court, maybe because he is a little bit of a bully on the court, maybe because he is a little bit tough and aggressive on the court, that he overrides some of the players that maybe are better than him, but he kind of bullies them around. But he's doing things in a way that are really confusing for the NBA, and it's almost time to say, look, who wants to do a celebrity boxing match with Draymond Green? That's the ticket. I want to put together that live on the Brandon Mason Show. Draymond Green in a boxing match versus someone else who wants to knock his teeth out. Let this man go to the sport he wants to go to.
Superbad will not be boxing Draymond Green.
Listen. We're going to move forward. Listen, this is part of the show. Everybody knows right now the call-in segment of the show, where next week, hopefully we have it lined up here next week, where you can call in, say what you got to say. If you have any questions or you want to talk about from the beginning NFL MVPs, you want to talk about Draymond Green, you want to talk about Cam Newton, if you want to get on here and say something, this is the part of the show you'll be able to dial in and say, look, here's what I got to say, and we can hear you loud and clear, live, and especially, like I say all the time, the most important part of this is to start throwing daggers at Brent. Not making fun of me. This is where you make fun of Brent, okay, as part of this show. And if you happen to have something to say about me, I can gladly take that and give you some feedback back. So are you looking forward to that, Brent?
I got the Brandon Mason digs covered. So one more final shout out to the Utah Utes for mud stomping Brandon Mason in the Fiesta Bowl. There we go.
Listen,
we got, you know
what? At this point, I graduated college so long ago. I can't even remember the damn quarterback that was playing for Utah, but he beat the shit out of. He played for the 49ers, I believe. He went to Utah.
Smith?
Who was it? Who went from the? Who went
Alex
from
Smith?
Yes. What was it?
Was it Alex Smith?
Yes,
no,
Alex Smith. Yeah. They were right. By the way, I got this stupid color on now. I'm pissed off. I love this color, but shit. But at the end of the day, they were running plays that we never seen before, and they were just. It was bad. They had all these Samoans on the field. Listen, I'm looking at it going, oh my God! Everybody on the defensive line was like Samoan, and they were literally like, they weren't like 6'6". They were like 6'3", 6'4", but so big it was like, dude, they look like.
My son has played in some All-American Bowls, and I've learned that Salt Lake City and Utah, they have a very high Samoan Polynesian population, and they got some big boys they're growing there in the local high schools in Utah. That's why you show up there like, why is there this Polynesian American offensive line? Yeah, they're living in Salt Lake and going to high school there, and they're just keeping them local. Yeah, they're tough.
I mean, they're off the chains, and the size is crazy. Hey, listen, I got. People want to send stuff in. I'm getting a bunch of messages. People want to send stuff to wear. I know we talked about that. Shirts, or if anybody wants to send something in to put on, whether it's clothes or a hat or, like I said, anything you want to put up on the screen, I can do that for you. Just send us an email or contact us on social media, whatever you want to do. But we're looking forward to that. Brent, listen, I had a lot of fun today. Guys, hope everyone's enjoying their day. Brent, thanks for having you. And we will see you tomorrow morning at 10. Right, Brent?
Do it again tomorrow, bro.
All right, make sure your camera's ready to go because mine was freaking effed up.
That was fine, bro.
Guys, thanks for tuning in and watching the Brandon Mason Show. Guys, we're so happy to have you guys watching, inviting people every single day as we expand the show. We are live every single day, Monday through Friday, 10 to 10:30-ish. We will expand to 11. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time.